Okay, Melissa, are you ready?
We are ready.
Okay, thank you. Once again, I'm Doris Mosely, and I will be sharing with you today on hair loss and hair restoration. As I said yesterday, hair has always been told to me that it was our crown and glory, and I wanted to know what happened to my crown and where is my glory. Wakanda has gotten to the root of the problem. There's over 80 million people who are losing their hair. It is now an epidemic of people who are losing their hair. 50 million of those people are said to be men. 30 million of those people are said to be women who are reporting. And now children under 18 are losing their hair. And hair loss, as we know it as baldness, but the medical term is alopecia. Alopecia is where you have missing hair in areas, or you have total, or you have universalis, which there's no hair on the entire body. Androgenetic alopecia is male pattern baldness, female pattern baldness. Alopecia areata is where you see the patch of hair loss. And and I know after today, you're probably going to be looking at people and saying, I wonder if that's alopecia areata. And then we have hairstyles that causes alopecia, which is traction alopecia. And that's just the hairstyling techniques. And if you go back one screen, Melissa, where we can actually see an example of the alopecia areata. That's considered alopecia areata there, but it's the thinning that takes place usually in the top of the hair, and that is a form of female pattern baldness. Here, hair loss, you see the androgenetic, which is male or female pattern baldness. Now, the top line here that you're looking at is the male. Male usually start in the front, connects in the center, and it keep progressing until it's like the very last picture, which is alopecia totalis, which take place on the head. And sometimes the eyebrows and eyelashes are affected. The second picture that you see, the second line, is female pattern baldness. It also starts in the top. And when you start seeing this, ladies, as well as men, start doing something about it. Like I said again, Wakanda has gotten to the root of the problem. But as you just neglect it and say it's not happening to me, it continues to progress until it gets to the last picture. And that's where you have the hair loss in the top and it keeps going, going, going. But usually on the female, the hairline is still intact. And there's various extremes of hair loss. So you want to catch it. This is traction alopecia. Traction alopecia has been labeled from too tight, too much stress on the hairline. And usually with the hairstyles today, people are leaning more to the hair augmentation, which is mean that they're adding hair to the head, they're braiding too tight, they're sewing too tight. This is for the female. And now the males are getting hair replacement the same way that women are getting hair replacement. So you want to be very careful. Again, traction alopecia, some hairstyles including tight ponytails or braids, pull hair away from the scalp with such force that hair strands are damaged and fall out. In most cases, hair will regrow after you alter the hairstyle. In some cases, this leads to permanent hair loss and well, we can see here some of the pictures, but I just want to share this with you before I go into this screen, that we were given 5 million follicles when we were born. Now, those follicles house and nourishes the hair strand. But if the improper hairstyling and improper treatment that we give, we will end up losing those follicles. And once there's a follicle hysterectomy, as I call it, there will be no more hair in that area. Now, alopecia again, totalis, is there's no hair on the entire head. Alopecia areata is in patches. You'll start to see little patches develop. And you want to make sure you pay attention to this because when we get past 40, we start noticing hair loss. But if we continue not to do anything about it, it could end up alopecia universalis, meaning there's no hair on the entire body. Now, those are autoimmune deficiencies. So we want to really tune into our dermatologists or our endocrinologists, and we don't want them to just tell us, we have alopecia. We want to get to the root of the problem. And that's why I'm so excited about Wakana, because they have taken the time, as we're going to get into, why it has been proven. Next screen. Okay, here are the phases in which hair loss go through. And that is the anagen phase. The anagen phase is where the hair is getting good blood supply. It can stay in that phase for 2 to 7 years. That's when hair is growing, okay? And then we go into the catagen phase. That's the transitional phase, where it could last only 10 days, which we now you see that we're losing blood supply. And as we know, blood nourishes the body. It nourishes every cell. That's why it's so important that we take care of the body so we can get good cells being reproduced. And then it goes on into the telogen phase. Now, in the telogen phase, it lasts up to 3 months, but that is the phase where hair is shedding. That's the shedding phase. Now, we can lose anywhere up to 50 to 100 strands a day. Now, don't be alarmed if you're wearing those hairstyles that causes the hair to stay on, those stationary hair, or they say those secured hairstyles where maybe you in braids or maybe you are in a weave, and it is causing that hair to it falls out, but it doesn't leave the head. So when you take those styles down, you say, oh my God, what happened? I've lost a lot of hair. No, you lost the amount that you probably would have lost anyway, but you just didn't see it because the wind, the brushing, the combing took it out. But genetics, that's one of the reasons why people are losing their hair. Genetics is, my mama could have been early stage of alopecia or baldness as we know it, or my dad. But if both of them had that challenge, then it's going to speed up your chances. So we want to really pay close attention to androgenetics, which is your genes, what's in the genes. And there are tests that can be taken now. They can swab your saliva and send it to the lab and find out if you're going to have early stage of baldness or alopecia. And if that comes back where you're a candidate, don't go and jump into augmented hair, meaning store-bought hair, to cover up. You want to get into why Wakana brought you the product that they brought you. Some medications. Now, there are a lot of medications out there on the market today that cause, as a side effect, is hair loss. So what I always say to my customers, look at the pack, the sheet of paper that come with your medication and see if that's one of the side effects. If hair loss is one of the side effects, find out what you can do to get off the medication through doctor recommendation. Not you get off of it yourself. I had a stylist to tell me one time in one of my audience that she told her clients to stop taking the medicine, and the client was a diabetic. I said, you can't do that because she's going to be laying in her casket with a full head of hair. So you have to do what the doctors say do to get off the medication, and then that way you can get your hair back if all possible, providing the follicle is still there. Then we deal with stress. Everybody is stressing, especially right now. We are under a lot of stress because we don't know from day to day what's going to happen next with this virus. So we're just all in an uproar. Children are stressing, pets are stressing. So it's how we handle the stress. And what we have here with Wakana can help ease the stress. So that's important. Age, dealing with age, once you reach 40, ladies and gentlemen, things start to change. Hair loss is one of the things, but you don't really know you're losing hair until you're about 51% into loss. So I'm going to pay close attention to that. Poor nutrition. We all both just got through talking about what we should be putting into our bodies and noticing what you're putting into your basket at the grocery store. So you can take it home and you put it in your body, which is a negative. We have to eat foods that's going to bring our body back into an alkaline state. Acid state body is not good. I remember over 13 years ago, I was told I had an acidic body. I didn't pay any attention to what that person had said to me. I kept right on going. Guess what? 6 months later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So that just said my body was in that state to receive the breast cancer diagnosis. I and you, we all need to get back to eating foods that's going to uh, take our body back into an alkaline state. That is where disease does not dwell. Okay, so it's very important. Eat more greens, drink water. As Bo said, we need to drink a lot of water. 75 to 80% of our body is water. We got to nourish those cells with water, keep them hydrated, keep our body hydrated. Eat green foods, eat foods that will promote good health. Hairstyles, oh my God, we are wearing some hairstyles now that is definitely directed and directing us towards hair loss. Too tight, tension, traction, all of those type of hairstyles, they are not good, but we're wearing them. So I'm going to share with you some solutions before we end this presentation to kind of help you. But you got to know hair strand is only going to take so much before it said, I'm out of here. And if you continue to do it, the follicle is going to get out of here and you're not going to have any hair back. Hair products, so important that we check our ingredients. As we walk down the aisles and picking up product, take a moment to look at the ingredients. You have some ingredients that is detrimental to your hair follicles and your hair strand, such as those carcinogenic products, such as your paraffin, those fragrances that they have in there, those alcohols, those mineral oils, all of those things, they're not good. They go into the follicle and they do havoc to the follicle. And again, you were born with 5 million follicles, over 100,000 of them made it to the head. But if you're going to be disrupted to them and abuse the follicle, it's not, they're not going to stay around. They're going to be gone. Okay. Excessive heat. Heat is good for the hair because it stimulates. But if you continue to use excessive heat, you can cause that hair strand not to return to its natural state. When you shampoo your hair should return to its natural state. In other words, if you have curly hair, it should be curly from the ends to the scalp. Notice I didn't say to the root. We got to start, listening to what we say. Roots are below the scalp. The shaft is above the scalp. So when you shampoo your hair, check it out from the ends to the scalp. It should go back to its natural state. If it remains straight out on the ends, that means you're using too much heat on the hair and eventually it's going to break. That's very important. We already talked about some of the autoimmune disease, such as your alopecia areata, totalis, universalis, mean there's no hair on the entire body. Alopecia totalis, mean there's no hair on the entire head, and sometimes your eyes, lashes, and eyebrows are affected. And then you say alopecia areata. Now, I had the opportunity to scope at an event, check the scalps. And there was this young girl, she had a patch missing about the size of a quarter. And it didn't look right to me. So I advised her to go to a dermatologist. But what she said happened, that a hairstylist had taken her hair out. And I had taken her weave out, took her hair out. I said, well, just go because, we don't diagnose or cure or do any of that. We just, refer. So I referred her to a dermatologist. And guess what? She was first stage lupus. But if she had not had her scalp checked, she would have continued to think her hairstylist took her hair. So we have to be very mindful of what we see and how we deal with it. Always refer. I am not a doctor. Other medical conditions that you can have a plethora of medical conditions, but again, make sure you check it out, read your labels. And here's our disclaimer. If yes, go back to it. Thank you. This product should be used only, and I'm going to say that again, only as directed on the label. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended, again, to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. Should any irritation occur while using this product, please discontinue use and seek medical attention. Individual results will vary. And that's exactly, individual results will vary. What's good, what happened to me may not happen to you, maybe happens later or sooner. A proprietary hemp powered hair. Isn't that an awesome name? Hemp powered hair. a proprietary blend of CBD and organic essential oils to help support longer and stronger hair. Hemp seed energizes hair follicles. The follicles nourish the strand, stimulates faster, thicker, and longer hair. Now, the hemp in that, meaning that it helps bring the body back into balance also. So that's important. Hemp powered hair. Black seed oil, one of my favorites because it's anti-inflammatory, meaning it helps get rid of inflammation. Inflammation is one of the reasons why people are losing their hair. Inflammation is said to be stored in our fat cells. So we want to make sure we keep the fat cells down and follow Dr. Rita and doing what she's doing, looking the way she's looking. That's exciting. It kills fungus and it thickens the hair. Because if it does not kill the fungus, it will get into the follicle and then it will cause folliculitis, which is a sickness in the hair follicle. Then we look at baobab oil. Baobab, rich in vitamin A, D, and omega-3, which all triggers hair growth, increases moisture. Baobab also gets rid of the dry, itchy scalp. So that helps us eliminate the fact that we are saying we have dandruff. Dandruff is just cells that has been manufactured faster than we can get off the scalp. It's only dead cells. Pumpkin seed oil, rich in vitamin E, zinc, omega-3, and 6 fatty acids. Now, the one thing about omega-3, it's helped give the shine, and we'll talk about that when we get into the salmon. Reduces itching, flaking, and irritation. Inhibits dihydrotestosterone, which is a DHT, production and assisting in controlling hair loss. That is another way. I know Bo talked about rosemary, but this is another product. And see, the one thing about this, Wakanda did their homework. Rosemary oil improves cellular generation, reduces itchy scalp, helps thicken the hair. Now, rosemary is a natural DHT blocker also. And as Bo said earlier, what happens when DHT makes contact with that follicle, it chokes out the nutrition that goes to the hair follicle. And once that is choked out, as if I did the same thing to you, if you, the person sitting next to you, if you reach and put your hands around their neck and start choking them, eventually, if you continue, they will die. And that's what happens to the strand of hair. DHT goes in there and chokes out the nutrition out of that follicle, which is housing that hair strand, taking care of that hair strand. Eventually, the hair goes on away. And if it's died totally, you cannot resurrect the dead. That's why I say if there's a follicle hysterectomy, that's it. There's no more hair. The scalp lives on, but the follicle is gone. So it helps connects to the hair growth. Moringa oil contains vitamin A. Now, vitamin A is good for the hair cells, but too much vitamin A, it will do just the opposite, because vitamin A grows fast. It helps the hair grows faster, and it's a part of the cell regeneration. And vitamin A also helps the glands, which makes the sebum oil. Each strand of hair, there is a sebaceous gland attached to it. And the purpose of that sebaceous gland is to secrete the sebum oil that helps naturally gives the hair the shine and the moisture. So it's very important that we know that in our hemp powered hair, we have vitamin A, but do not misuse vitamin A. So moringa is in there and it's doing its thing, and it connects to the hair growth. Wild salmon oil. Now, we can't even eat enough salmon to do what it needs to do. So Wakanda, again, did their homework. Wild salmon oil supports with vitamin D and protein. Now, vitamin D we can get from the sun, but we're not out there in the sun to get enough that we need. That's our natural vitamin D. And with all these protective hairstyles we have now and this augmentation, Vitamin D, the sun can't even get to our scalps, you guys. So we got to be mindful of that when we go out in the sun. What are we covering that the sun is not going to make it to our scalps? And protein is one of the building blocks for the hair. So wild salmon oil has the protein and it contains omega fatty acids that promotes hair growth. And it also promotes a healthy scalp. It also, wild salmon oil is the omega-3, but what it gives to the hair, it gives the shine and it gives the strength to the hair. Because when hair is in its anagen phase, it stays in there from 2 to 7 years, remember? So it gives that strength there. So if you're losing hair in that stage, you're actually losing hair, okay? Now the peppermint oil, love it. Antimicrobial, stimulates hair growth because it stimulates the blood circulation. When you have a client, if you're a stylist on the line, and if you have a client in the bowl and you have peppermint oil, like Blo said, you can add a little to your, this is one of the oils you can add to your shampoo. It just gives that client such a relaxing moment. It opens up the arteries and veins and allow that blood to flow. That's the stimulation part of it. And it's just really relaxing. And you'll hear so many sounds that you would want to say, oh, what's happening here in this bowl? Lemon oil, another one of my favorites because it contains vitamin C, which helps promote collagen, which is crucial for healthy hair and skin, fights hair loss when combined with rosemary and lavender. And another thing about lemon oil, you guys, it helps deep cleanse the hair shaft. See, if you keep putting conditioners and conditioners, over conditioner, you're now conditioning the conditioner. You're not really conditioning the hair. So with the lemon oil, it helps cleanse all of that buildup off the shaft, which is the strand of hair, and it helps now for the hair strand to receive the nutrients that you're actually putting onto the hair. So again, I just can't thank Wakana enough because they actually have thought about it, they researched it, and they made it happen. And the features again, proprietary blend exclusive to Wakana for life. More than a dozen powerful oils, certified organic oils, carefully formulated with the right ratio of ingredients for maximum results. It's been tried, trusted, proven for formula enhanced with even more powerful essential oils. Now, and I'm going to share with you my personal story. I was diagnosed with CCCA. Now, I don't know if you know what that means, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I was diagnosed with central, which is my hair loss started in the top. Centrifugal, meaning it started to spread out. Cicatricial, meaning I had scar tissue. Alopecia. Was I nervous? Yes, I was. Simply because I teach on many stages about hair loss and hair restoration. I could not be up there with hair missing, no hairlines, no hair in the top, just going bald. I could not. I was so nervous. But with the ingredients that Wakana has put into hemp powered hair, I was able to get my hair back. And I used it according to what it says on the direction. 6 drops in the morning under my tongue, 6 drops at night under my tongue, putting it under my tongue, letting it sit for 60 seconds before swallowing, or I just let it dissolve in, especially at night. I just went on to sleep with it. I used it. I didn't expect it to happen overnight because hair grows a half an inch a month on the norm, 6 inches a year. I didn't expect this to come back overnight. So I was very patient because I made a decision. See, once you make a decision, then you can follow through with it if you're committed. I was committed. I stayed with the program and I didn't even want to see my daughter actually took the pictures. And I was like, oh my God, my hair got to come back. I stopped stressing and I start relaxing. My hair started to come back. Every month she would take pictures just to make sure it was doing the ingredients was doing what they say they would do. And guess what? My hair is back full. I have a full hairline. I'm not afraid. I was hoping we could be together physically this weekend so you can see what actually happened. I'm excited about the fact that it happened. The ingredients has been proven, and I trusted them, and I tried them, and I was excited. So I just want you to know that you have to start. Now, how do you use it? Again, under the tongue, and you can actually drop the drops on the challenge area on the scalp. But do not let your nozzle touch your scalp or your hair, because you don't want to contaminate your product, because it leaves the office uncontaminated. We don't want you to contaminate it by letting it touch. You're going to place those drops in those areas, and you're going to gently massage it in. You don't want to roughly massage it in, because frictions causes breakage. So you're going to gently massage it in and just watch and see what it does. Then you can also have treatments to the hair. After you shampoo your hair, towel dry your hair, and then put a dropper into an ounce or less, depending on how much hair is on the head, of water. Spray the hair and the scalp with the treatment. Then you completely dry the hair and style it. Or if you're going to wet set it. Or if you're going to braid it, however you're going to finish it, finish it. Then if you are wearing a weave, which is known as augmented hair, you place the client or yourself under a dryer and dry 50%. Then you come out with that same treatment I just shared with you, an ounce or less of water, and you put your dropper of hemp-powered hair in, shake it up good, and spray it directly on the scalp. You don't have to worry about spraying the augmented hair, because it's just it. It's detached hair. You're going to spray it on your braids and on your scalp. Go back under the dryer and dry 100%. Because if you does not dry 100%, you will end up causing mildew to your hair and scalp, and that wouldn't be good. So you want to dry completely. When you take your hair down from those secured or stationary, or however you call in those looks, you want to comb your hair from the ends towards the scalp. And the reason you do that, because all the hair that would have shedded in the telogen phase didn't get out. And you want to make sure you take all of that hair out of there before you either shampoo it or whatever you're going to do to it. You want to make sure you get that hair out of there. Now, I've noticed clients that use the hemp powered hair and spray and do those things, they have less shedding when it's time to take it down. That's important. So now let's look at our next steps here. We gotta first purchase the product. That's the first thing you gotta do. And then examine your scalp. You want to look for anything that's not normal. Okay, if you're a hairstylist on the line, you want to look for anything that is not normal. And you could tell, but being that we're not doctors, we're not going to diagnose. Okay, follow the direction. You may want to take a patch test to make sure that they're not allergic to any of the things that's in there, because baobab comes from a tree nut. So you want to make sure they're not allergic to any nuts. Eat a healthy and balanced diet, because when you're eating a healthy and balanced diet, and if you're following our Dr. Rita, you'll know what that is, you will find your body will be in better condition. And when you have a healthy body, you're going to have healthy things growing out, because hair, nails, skin. Hair and nails is just an appendage of skin. And if you don't have good skin, chances are you're not going to have good hair. Take some befores and after pictures, because you want to follow the progress. You want to take some pictures so you can show your customers, or you can show your friends, even your family, because you know they're the last one to believe you. So show them that this is really working, you guys. I have my hair back. Well, people can see I have pictures. I have my hair back. If under a doctor's care, talk with your doctor first. We always recommend that you talk to your doctor first, because you don't want any of the natural herb or oils to bump heads with any medication you may be taking. Healthy hair grows about 6 inches a year. Yes, you remember that word. Healthy hair can grow about 6 inches a year. And you know, everybody's different. So your body may say you didn't get but 4 inches. and you want to investigate why I only got 4 and you got 6. And if you know, you probably, if you're not a hairstylist, you probably don't know the follicle. Well, the follicle has 3 shapes. We have a bent shaped follicle, we have a curved follicle, and we have a straight follicle. Straight hair comes out of a straight follicle. You know that's going to grow faster. The follicle is bent. It comes, wavy hair comes out of there. It's going to come out a little slower than straight hair. And then you have a flat, which is a totally flat follicle. And that's where your extremely curly hair come from. Extremely curly. If you get the visual picture here, take pictures again and share your results. Get on everything you got. Listen to our CEO as she shared with us on social media. Share everything, and you will see how your wealth will grow also. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time. And remember, what happened to your crown and where is your glory? Thank you once again, Wakana, for life.